Yo, what's up, everybody? What's good? What's good? What's good? My name is Angel. I'm a channel. I'm a medium. I hope everybody's having a fantabulous day. Oh, this is going to be the beginning of my YouTube video podcast for you guys. I'm going to take you to the journey of how I became who I am and where I started. So, a little bit about me. I am a channeler of all things. I love channeling information and knowledge that's meant to be channeled and meant for the collective. I am also a reader of energy. I love reading energy. I love reading vibration. I understand the vibration is numbers and everything is a number pattern. I love sacred geometry. I'm diving into this, and I love alchemy. I talk a lot about alchemy, mainly spiritual alchemy, and then connecting the elementals of alchemy to our body, to the earth, and reconnecting with Mother Earth and herself, and how we're all connected. That's how you'll hear me say a lot: as above, so below; as within, so without, and that all is mental. That's a little bit about me and some things you'll hear from me in this podcast. So today, we're going to start off by telling you who I am and how I got on this journey. It has been a long road, so I guess you could call this. Sorry about that. I guess you could call this the beginning of my journey to where I am. And throughout the way, I'll drop little tidbits of knowledge, a little bit of information to help you kind of get insights and what I've learned on this journey and things I haven't learned on this journey. I have links where you can find me. And then if you want to book a session with me, I will leave my email where you can always email me to book a session or a 6 to 12 week mentorship, depending on what you want to purchase. So let's get started. So it's interesting because I can remember hearing stories. Well, let's start in the beginning. So in the beginning, being born was already the first challenge that I faced in this world. I was born back in the 80s. So when you come through in the 80s, there was the drug pandemic that was happening. So I was one of those children that was, I'm going to say victim, that had to kind of go through that stage in life of having a parent addicted to drugs, which I don't think it harmed me in any way. What I feel like it did was almost start my journey of healing. So to be able to be that young and have to heal through that is an amazing thing to me. So that's how it started. So from birth, my mom was addicted to drugs, and that's fine. Because I started to learn how to heal from a young age. So I've been healing myself essentially my whole life. So I think that is a phenomenal asset to have, and that was a blessing in itself to be able to go through and learn how to do that in such a young age. So let's talk a little bit about like my channeling and how I got, and I'm going to share some stories with y'all, just some things that happened to me that I was able to recognize throughout my life. So the first story I don't remember, I've seen glimpses of, but I can remember being 9 months old and hearing the story that my mother and two of my uncles would tell, and it was at 9 months old. They were going to do something they didn't have no business. It wasn't illegal. It was just something they didn't need to be doing at the time. And they had me on the porch in the car seat getting ready to put me in the car. And my mom and my uncles both said a cloud flew down, lowest they've ever seen. And they said, clear as day. I spoke the words, Mom, Uncle So-so, look, there goes God. And then the cloud dissipated. And she said they went into church and preached and sat on the doorstep and talked about that for a long time. So she was like, that to her was the first time in which she knew that I would be a messenger, that I would speak the prophetic word, and that's who I was. So my whole life I've always heard that you're a prophet, you're this, you're that. And I thought that was just a blessing to be able to experience that. I've had many journeys, many roads. Some were hard, some were easy. But we're going to just tell you kind of a little bit of some of it and how I got to this healing journey. As I remember stories, as I tailored into different things that I teach into healing my life. Sometimes you'll hear some of those stories, things that I've gone through that have helped me heal, that I had to go back on, that were hard, that I had to heal through. I'll talk about some of those stories. There are a lot of different stories that I'll tell coming into the present day now, going back into my life, into Lemuria, and having to heal through that was also something else that was very profound. So I give a lot of examples from my life in which I've had to heal things that were very traumatic, and hoping that they'll heal someone else who's had a very traumatic life in that aspect as well. It was a journey in which I chose to share, that I'm choosing to share now, but I'm also a spiritual teacher. So I'm grateful to be able to have those experiences, to be able to share, to hopefully they can help somebody else. A lot of my friends, I like to tell them it's not much I haven't been through at such a young age, but there's still a lot that I have to get through to finish healing. So this is one way to spread my journey. So we're going to fast forward just some things that kind of were eye-opening to me as I started like really diving into my journey of becoming unconditional love and who I am. So I can remember being young, laying in the bed, right? I would be asleep at night, and I was one to always sleep with the TV on. So something about the dark that I didn't care for. I wasn't afraid of it, but I didn't like it. So when I would go to sleep at night, I would sleep with the TV on or some type of light on in my room so that my room was never pitch black. So I can remember at the age of maybe 11, 12 years old, I would lay down and I would go to sleep. And I would wake up, the TV would go off, so it would wake me up, and I could never find the remote. So me being me, I would always get up out the bed and go to turn the light on in my bedroom. Every time I tried to turn this light on, the light never came on. So I would look around the room like something was wrong, and I would always see these beings in my room. Sometimes they'd be gray, sometimes they'd be blue. And I remember I would just run, jump back in my bed, and be screaming, just trying to scream, but the sound would never come out. So I'm literally trying to scream, but the sound would never come out. And these beings would not be harming me. They would just be looking at me like, yo, we're here to help you. It was peace with them, but because of fear and conditioning, I didn't understand what was going on. And being so young, I didn't understand what was going on. So I can remember my mom would come running in the room. Of course, I grew up in a Christian Baptist household. She flip on the light. She got the holy water, the holy oil. She's slinging it everywhere. She's praying. But these beings never went away. I would sit there and look at them. I would just have peace because she cared enough to come do that. But they never went away. They would still be in my room. And I wouldn't tell anybody. I would just look at them and they would look at me. And I never understood what was going on. Eventually I would go back and sleep and they would go away. And it would be the next morning. So I went through that till up to in my 20, 25 years old, in which I never knew what it was. As I moved to college and things of that nature, I learned not to scream when that happened. I would just lay there and I learned to wiggle my fingers and my toes to try to come back through. So fast forward, I realized what was happening was I was doing something called OBE, out of body experience. So I was coming out of body and they wanted to take me to go gather information. But at the time I didn't understand that. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew that I had that. The way that I was raised, I was taught that it might not have been something good. It wasn't until I started studying alchemy that I realized that the pendulum swings one way or the pendulum swings the other. That everything has duality, but nothing's bad. If we give everything meaning, nothing has meaning until we give it to it. So I never seen it as bad, but I didn't understand. So that was kind of an instance that I went through as a kid. And now where I'm at now, understanding that there was OBE, and that was someone trying to take me somewhere. It's amazing to be able to understand that now and go back and think, man, I wish I would have been doing that then. Where could I have went to? What information could I have? But that wasn't my journey at that time. So at my journey was just for them making me aware that they knew that I was here, making me aware that I had them if I needed them, making me aware that they were my guides and who they were. So that was something that I kind of went through. And then something else that I went through. And these are just stories that kind of I'm playing back as to when I started my spiritual journey. I could go back on and be like, man. So going forward, I would always have like a sense of knowing, or I could almost see the future. So I can remember one time I had an aunt that was supposed to come visit. And when she was supposed to come visit, she was going to call and tell us that she couldn't visit. Well, I remember waking up. It was like real. I had already had the vision that she had called. She said she couldn't come, and my mom was upset. And so I went downstairs and I went to my mom. I was like, hey, Mom, why is so-and-so not coming today? She was like, what are you talking about? She coming. She didn't call. The phone rang a few minutes later. It was my aunt. Hey, I'm not going to make it because of XYZ. My mom just looked at me. She was like, you just know things. So I've always been able to know things in that sense. And that's even with going places. Like I'll know not to go somewhere because the energy doesn't feel good. I can feel the energy of the place before I get there, so I can sense kind of what's going to happen. That's with my everyday life to this day. I'm still that same way. I can remember having friends, and when friends would get sick or die, my friends would come to me and be like, hey, can you go touch them? Can you go heal them? Can you go say a word of like positivity for them? And I would be like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I am just a normal person. So, like, I'm not sure what you want me to do, but I'm going to send well wishes to them. You know, just love. I'm going to send love to them. That's all I ever knew. I'm going to send unconditional love and peace to them. And that's all I knew to do. You know, not realizing that I could communicate with the dead who was passing or things of that nature. I can also remember when my aunt died. She was a twin. I was sleeping in the bed with my aunt. I was younger, and I remember looking in the kitchen, and there was this beautiful golden white light in the kitchen. And I remember the voice coming from the kitchen was like, Mary, saying her name. And I remember waking up my auntie. I said, Auntie, there's this beautiful white light in the kitchen that's calling your name. And she looked at me and she said, Baby, that's my sister. She wants me to go with her, but it's not my time. I still have work to do. Go back to sleep. And we both rolled over and the light went away. And I was like, wow. So that was kind of the first time that I had physically seen a family member with my own eyes. And that's to this day now. I can move through my house and see entities and family members and communicate with them on a telepathic way, which I think is absolutely beautiful because it not only brings healing to you, it can bring healing to other people who need it. And we all can do this. We just have to open our hearts and let go of beliefs and limited beliefs and fears that keep us in this limit of a body that we're beyond. So fast forward, that's a little bit about me. So fast forward to get me where I am here now. You know, I was maybe 2 years ago, I was working my 9-to-5 job, which I'm still working. It was a release. I was working my 9-to-5 job, which I'm still working. And I go to this gas station to put up the product we're delivering. And this girl corners me and I'm like, I'm not single. I'm with somebody. I'm sorry. She's like, no, I have a message for you. I was like, okay, what do you got? She was like, your life was shown to me from the beginning to now. She's like, you have a story to tell. She said, you need to share your story. Write a book, share it, whatever it is, you need to share it because people need to hear it. And she was like, everything that you've given your whole life will come back to you. And she was like, you are a prophet, you are a healer, you are a messenger. She said, you have a story. And I didn't know this lady from Adams, from nothing. I was like, well, thank you. And I said, yes, I made it. She said, you did. She said, you made it through everything, through the trials, the tribulations, the hard times, the good. She said, you made it and you're still making it. So I sat with that for a while. You know, I was like, I really don't want to write a book. I'm not much a person to write books. Like, I'll read a book, kind of Edgar Cayce style, if you know who that is. But when it comes to like writing a book, that's not my forte. How do I do this? So what happened is I found a center. I went to the center and then I met my mentor. And as I started harnessing in on my channeling and doing channelings for people and realizing that and predicting things, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm truly gifted. I'm worthy of this, you know. And then realizing that my soul chose this contract for a reason. I was like, man, I'm worthy of this. This is something that I need to be doing. I was like, okay, what is my next step? Like, what do I need to do next? And it was like, okay, now you need to start working with people. So we started building a Discord community, a Patreon. But I was like, there's something for myself that I need to do. And, you know, something was like, you need to tell this. My mentor said, you need to tell your story. I was like, okay, that's the one thing I've not done through all of this is tell my story of how I got here. So here we are today, telling my story. And how I'm going to tell my story is through my teachings. I'm not going to sit down and give you a story time. But if I'm talking about like a fear or beliefs or alchemy, then I'm going to relate parts in my life that tie into that, how I've used those processes to heal myself and to move forward. That's how I'm going to tell my story on my YouTube channel. So I hope that you guys stick around. And I hope that you enjoyed this little bit of synopsis of finding out who I am and what I do. I'm super excited to tell you guys the story. I'm super excited to let you in my life. I'm super excited to help those who want to be helped. And I'm super excited to be able to give you a safe space where you can tell your story. So if you haven't, and if you're into it, there's a Discord link. Join that Discord. Come in Discord. Hang out with us. And I'm just going to post randomly. So if I have something on my heart or if I'm in my heart and I need to tell you guys something, I'm going to start posting. I'm not going to be a scheduled person, so turn on those notifications. I speak from the heart. I speak from the soul. I speak from my higher self, so I'm never going to be a scheduling person. In Discord, I do go live in Discord. I do sit in my Discord and communicate with people just to help people because I'm here to help people. I also do have a mentorship program that's tailored for you. I like to go look in your energetic field and see what you need, because what I think you need might not be what you need. But I share a lot of my heartfelt stories. I have a lot of downloads that I'm going to share with you guys. And I know something you'll realize I will start talking about is letting go of fear and beliefs, because that was a big part of my life, of being so conditioned and having to let go of those fears and beliefs that were piercing my heart. That had my heart chakra so closed that I didn't even want to speak about things because I didn't feel like nobody wanted to hear it. So to open my heart and release that energy and release that pain and that hurt was a big part of me. And truly understanding why fears and beliefs are here was huge for me, and who I am and what my role is and what I am in this piece of this puzzle, in this connectedness that we all share. There'll never be another me and there'll never be another you, but we're all connected. And we're all unconditional love, and we're all beings of light. So let us take a walk on this journey together, and I look forward to sharing this story with you. I hope that you stick around. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share it out. Share out the channel. Invite people in. I'm not going to never tell you what to believe in, what not to believe in, who to believe in, and what, because it's all the same. The only thing that matters to me is unconditional love and releasing fears and beliefs, and whatever journey you take to get there, that's your journey for you. So never let anybody tell you that your journey is not right, because whatever journey is in your heart to take, that's always your journey. All right? Thank you guys for listening. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this out. And thank you again from the bottom of my heart for taking this journey with me. And I'll see you the next recording. When I got something I want to put out, we're going to come back and talk about it. All right? Namaste, and I love you all.